Hi everybody, I'm very happy to welcome you here on board of our dynamic live webinar today. And as you can see, we are literally on board because we're at this beautiful location, the Morgenster, a sailing ship docked here at the Maritime Museum in Rotterdam. My name is Samantha Coleridge and I'll be your anchor today throughout this whole exciting life journey. And we have a special program for you today. Another thing, you can ask your questions. Most of you will probably look at this stream through YouTube. If you have a question for one of our guest speakers, please put your name and location in the comment box below and send it to us. Please interact with us today. We would love you to. And the subject today hardly needs any introduction, right? In the midst of the crisis we're currently in, there has been a bigger crisis going on for way too long. No surprises there. It's plastic pollution. It's terrorizing our waters and therefore water life, food chains, including our own, etc., etc. Today we have three interesting guest speakers with us who've had the pleasure of welcoming earlier this year during our talk show, Plastic Soup, right here at the museum. Each of them has something very interesting to tell us about the innovative maritime solutions they are part of or working on to help clear our waters from plastic. All maritime solutions you'll see today are quite diverse in appearance and appliance. We're very curious to hear their updates and hear what they're working on. So let's get started. My first guest, as you can see here, is here on behalf of the river team of the Ocean Cleanup and will specifically tell us more about intercepting plastics in the rivers before it gets to the ocean. I'd like to welcome Head of Business Development of the Ocean Cleanup, Carlo Wesseling. Carlo, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, well, I'm happy to be here and great to be back in Rotterdam in the Maritime Museum where we used to have the Interceptor docked right here, so good to be back.
Indeed, indeed. And she was indeed here where we are standing right now.
Exactly.
And she was supposed to leave to?
Dominican Republic.
Ah,
and she did. She did leave. Yeah.
Well, we have a little clip for you guys to watch. Let's start a clip.
We're good to go. We're ready. Okay. Let's go. It's been a very wonderful couple of days to see all of this come together. It's all happening now. We're pulling trash out of the Rio Tama. Again, I'm very happy. This is priceless moments.
Guys, there's some water on my head, so Carlo is helping me to get rid of it. You just watched the video of the Interceptor laying in the Dominican Republic. They're very happy to have it there. What was the process like from getting the Interceptor from here, this harbor, all the way to the Dominican Republic? Because there was Corona, pandemic, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, she's so number 4, that's what she's called. She's had a great adventurous life till now, even before she came to Rotterdam. We built her here in the Netherlands as one of 3. And we built her in Kampen, which is in the north of the Netherlands, and then we shipped her all the way to Hedel, which is near Den Bosch. It's a military complex where we wanted to test her in secrecy because nobody was actually allowed to know that we were building these. There we had to hide her again because journalists were figuring out there was something happening, so we had to cover her up with military tarps and camouflage nets. And then eventually we had the launch event here in Rotterdam, where we actually unveiled her to the world and saying we're also looking at cleaning up the rivers and stopping plastic from entering the ocean in the first place. Then we docked her here for the time being before we could actually ship her off to the Dominican Republic, and she had a great life here and a lot of visitors. And then we shipped her to the Dominican Republic. Then we were about to install her and we had the anchors in place and everything was there, but then Corona hit the world and everything came to a grinding halt also in the Dominican Republic. So we had to wait for quite some time until the lockdown was over there and our crew could go back and install her. And then after she was installed and we were starting to collect plastic, Storm Laura hit the Dominican Republic, creating massive floods of water hyacinths. So we got into a little trouble there.
Wow.
So now she's docked to wait for the next 2 storms, and then after those storms are gone, hopefully next week we'll put her back on its anchors and start collecting plastic again.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And for our first timers today, in case you're not familiar with the Interceptor, we have a little clip to show you how she works.
Meet the Interceptor. Developed by the Ocean Cleanup, this is the first scalable solution to prevent river plastic from entering the oceans. This is how it works. The solar-powered interceptors are strategically located in the river. Debris flows into the system, while boats are still able to pass. The barrier directs waste to the mouth of the interceptor. Here, a conveyor belt extracts the debris from the water onto a shuttle. Because the system functions autonomously, the shuttle knows when to equally distribute the waste into one of 6 dumpsters located on a separate barge. At any time, operators can remotely access the interceptor's dashboards from anywhere in the world. Once full, the interceptor automatically sends a message to local operators. The barge is brought back to shore, emptied for recycling, and reattached for further collection. At top performance, the interceptor can extract up to 100,000 kilograms of trash per day. Working together with governments and private companies, we aim to tackle these 1,000 most polluting rivers in 5 years' time, helping us to close the tap and achieve our goal of ridding the world's oceans of plastic. Find out how to help at theoceancleanup.com.
So yeah, that was the little graphic informational clip about the Interceptor. Carlo, how many are active out there right now? We just watched 4.
Yeah, so that's number 4. So obviously you have number 1, 2, and 3 out there. It's not as simple as that because number 3 is in Vietnam, which we haven't installed yet. So that's still waiting installation. So we've got 3 active.
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
And what's the process like of installing an Interceptor?
Well, we ship it. It's in containers, so it's containerized. We ship it to its final location, to a harbor near there, and then we assemble it. So it's kind of an IKEA building package. You have to put it all together. Then obviously you need to test it. Then we bring it to its final location. We tug it there, or we push it there because it doesn't have an engine.
You have to educate people? You have to educate?
You have to educate people.
The
Yeah,
team?
you have to install it on its anchors and then kind of tweak it so it's actually at exactly the right spot in the river you want it to be. And then you need to train the operators. So we find local crew or local operators, and then we educate them on the system. We teach them how to work the system. It's quite simple, but still you need to do it safely. And after that, we kind of start the offloading process of the plastic, which is again a new process that you have to teach people to do. And if that's all done, then we hand it over to the local operators and then they take over.
And speaking of new things, what's new for the Interceptor? What's the update?
The updates on the Interceptor as well, number 4 that you just saw on the clip, that's our 2nd generation Interceptor. We've been hard at work at improving that system as well. We have one in Malaysia. We're improving the barriers, we're improving the intake to keep the efficiency up and the downtime down. At the same time, we've also been working on the 3rd generation, which is a massive improvement already on the 2nd generation. It's going to be cheaper, easier to build, and more effective than the current one. Those are going into massive production, in series production. We're not doing those ourselves, but we have actually a supplier who's going to produce them at scale. And then we're going to deploy them at the start of next year. And then we'll be rolling out at least to number 16, hopefully not next year. And then from there, we'll go up and up and up. So we've got 1,000 rivers that we want to solve. What's that?
Got a question. That's a question for you, probably.
Yeah, totally.
But wow, 16 interceptors. Oh! Sound effects. Yes. It's all live, guys. There is a question from Claudine, and she asks, hi Claudine, how will the ship know the difference between live, underwater and plastic?
So the interceptor takes up plastic, or actually the screen guides plastic to the interceptor. So there's a barrier screen, it does it 70 centimeters deep. And then the currents of the river actually push it towards the interceptor. So everything that floats is actually held back by the barrier and then pushed towards the interceptor, and the interceptor extracts it from the water river conveyor belt. So what we've seen with live animals and turtles and fish, that they understand that that's not something they want to be in, so they just swim under or around the interceptor. And obviously that way we don't actually harm them. For every deployment that we do thorough environmental analysis on what's actually living in the water, so that we don't do more harm or don't harm anything, and we also monitor that continuously. So our operators are also trained to monitor live animals around the interceptor and see how they interact with the system and report that back to us.
Wow,
so if we need to make adjustments or adaptations, that we do it safely. Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
And guys, this is all live, so I'm just looking to decide to see if we're doing another question or if it's just one question. Is it just one question? We have time for a second question. We do, guys. Milan asks, what are the sources of plastic pollution in the ocean?
So,
And I think Milan means, what are the most common sources of plastic pollution?
So in the ocean, there's a lot of plastic, as you know. That's what we're talking about. Most of that plastic comes from the rivers. So also some plastic coming from fishery or from shipping or for aquatic farming. But most of it, up to 90% or 80%, depending on which research you see, comes actually from the rivers, from the bigger cities where people live around the rivers, and everything is discharged there. So
Thank you so much, Carlo.
you're more than welcome.
That were the questions for Carlo. Carlo, thank you so much for being with us. We will keep following you guys, and we'll probably see you at the next update that we're doing around this subject. Good luck. And
Same
we're
to you.
moving on to our
Thanks
next
for having me.
guest. Thank you.
Bye.
Hi, this is my
Hi.
second guest. This is my second speaker, and he's a Rotterdam local. He has been actively fighting plastic pollution in our waters locally for years and beyond now. And let's start off with a clip to see what Ramon, that's his name, this is Ramon Knoester, is doing with his company, Clear Rivers.
So we're here at the Recycled Park Rotterdam. So what we're doing here is not only the retrieval of the plastics, but also the recycling and the reuse of these plastics into something new and durable, and that even supports the ecosystem. So what we do, we organize cleanups to retrieve the plastics from the rivers and to clean up the river shores. But at the same time, we found an innovation in passive litter traps. So the plastics is caught within our litter traps, and in that way it's very easy to get the plastics, to bring it to the sorting and recycling facility, and to reuse these plastics for recycling. Yeah, so we see here that the Recycled Park makes a lot of sense because it supports the ecosystem here, but of course elsewhere we have to develop other kind of products. So we already made a very good test with 3D printing. We can already make furniture, but also nowadays we are developing building blocks that we can use to develop housing. So in that way we can offer a kind of catalog with the different kind of products and techniques that can be used to really upcycle the plastics that we retrieve from the rivers and the ports. Well, we really have to educate the next generation to work on this issue on a professional level, to make them aware, but also to teach them that this is a real issue, but that they can also make the difference themselves. Yeah, of course this is a global problem, so we also need to find global collaborations and global partners to really be able to make the difference and to really stop all these plastics from entering our seas and oceans.
So you just saw it in the video. Ramon catches plastic with litter traps that are inside of the water, and you make sure that you repurpose the plastics, right? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, of course. Yeah, we see that it's very important to also give new value to the plastics, to really stimulate the cleaning of the plastics or taking the plastics from the river, but also to give it a new purpose. And especially we see this in countries which are still under development, where the recycling is still rather poor. And there, if you start taking the plastics from the river and they don't, let's say, have a decent recycling in place, then they still don't know what to do with it. So what we do is not only introduce the litter traps, but we also introduce recycling techniques or improve the recycling techniques, really to let them reuse the plastics that they are starting to retrieve themselves.
And most of us have already picked up on it. There's a lot of extra pollution now with this pandemic in the water. There's masks, there's gloves. Do you notice that that's a big part of your daily catch right now?
Yeah, unfortunately, masks and gloves are, let's say, a part of what we find in our litter traps, but also strangely enough, we find the packaging of cleaning materials. So we find the containers, for example, from soap. And for me, that's really weird. I mean, I understand that hygiene is currently more important than maybe the environment, but for me, that's also really shocking that people take care of their environment and take care of their hygiene, but at the same time, they're still dumping these packaging materials, in the waterways. Luckily we are taking them out, but hopefully people will become more conscious about the impact of that.
And can you still repurpose those things the same way? I mean, like masks, gloves, I don't know.
Yes.
The packaging, probably you recycle that the same way as normal plastic, but what about masks and gloves?
Yeah, masks and gloves, unfortunately, they're not good recyclable. Especially the single-use masks, they're horrible, and all we can do is just burn them, bring them to the incinerator.
What a waste. And obviously we want to change people's behavior when it comes to throwing away plastic or throwing stuff on the street so it doesn't blow into the water. But today we're talking about maritime solutions and recycling and repurposing. What is new with recycling, repurposing, but what is new for Clear Rivers?
There's a lot going on, fortunately. So we're starting with 5 new litter traps, 5 litter trap implementations within Europe. We're implementing 4 new in Asia, and we're implementing 1 new in Africa now. And we're also redeveloping the new products that we can make with the recycled plastics. So we have improved our litter trap design. So this is our passive litter trap.
Cool.
We have completely renewed the design.
And you color coordinated that, I see.
Yes, yes, it's a matching color. And also we made it more easy to transport. So this is a system which is very affordable, it's low budget, and even we can fit this just into a shipping container, and in that way we can literally implement it everywhere where it's needed. And then we're also making new circular products. So we already developed building materials with the recycling plastics.
So you're planning to build stuff with this?
Yes, definitely, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, especially in the conditions where the housing situations is poor, the plastic pollution is really high. So there also, if we can show people that if they treat their waste well, they can actually start to build their own houses and improve their own housing system. That would also really stimulate them to recover their plastics and recycle those plastics to improve their own living environment. And the last and final project I want to show you, it's what we call our blue and green project. It's also matching colors again. And what we're doing now is we're not only sorting the plastics by its kind, but also now within different colors. And with the different colors, we also now are going to launch products which are specifically blue and green, which are going to be very aesthetically as well. So we can really show the beauty of recycling plastics into these valuable new products.
Yeah, because that was my question. Like, that would cost more time and money to like color pick them and color coordinate them. Why is that interesting for you guys to do with recycled plastic?
To really show the potential of recycling plastic pollution, but also to, in a way, show the beauty of what we can do with recycled plastics.
So that it's not brown or gray or black?
Yes, yeah. So in principle, if you unsort the plastics and you just recycle it, then you get this kind of gray, blackish color. But if you start to recycle it or sorting them by color, then the variety, the possibilities become much more wider.
Yeah, it's more attractive, I guess. Depends on what you're looking for your house to look like. Anyway, we have questions. Robert asks, how do you get the money to do this? Ramon, are you a rich man?
I'm rich by experience, yes. We get the money from local governments, luckily, but also we are depending on the public to support us and fund us. Actually now we launched a project in Borneo and there is an open fundraiser for that. So if people want to support us, please support our project in Borneo to also help the local community there to recycle and recover the plastic waste.
Okay. And what is constructed from recycled plastics? You showed us a few already. Yes. Are there other things? I mean, like, do you, for instance, catch your plastics with recycled plastic?
Yes, very good question. So our litter traps, they're literally made with recycled plastics. So also by retrieving more plastics, we get more plastic to produce more litter traps. And as you probably have seen in the video, we made a recycled park, so a floating park with the recycled plastics.
Yep, ducks and everything.
Yes, swans and geese, sorry. Of course, the building blocks we're going to have the new, specifically in color, building materials. We're making furniture, we already made 3D printed benches. And now we're going to add more furniture to the possibilities.
And I've been told you're doing something with education.
Yes, very good. Yeah, also in collaboration with the Maritime Museum, so that's really also key for this guest lecture here. So we're starting a new project, let's say study assignment, together with 500 students, and we gave them the task to help us to improve our litter trap system. So we see that the plastic pollution is unfortunately still increasing worldwide, and it will still increase probably for the next decades. So we see that it's really important also to educate the next generation and to get their creativity and their impact, and to help them also to solve the issue of plastic pollution together. And the winner, let's say the winning team with the best proposal, they're going to be exhibited here in the Maritime Museum for about a year.
So did you hear that, guys? You're going to be exhibited here at the museum. So all of those good ideas, send them to this guy or to our museum. More on that probably on the website. Thank you so much, Ramon, for all the good work you do for our city and all over the world. And good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And we're getting ready for our next guest, the last one unfortunately already. And our last guest, yes, that's Richard. He calls himself an accidental environmentalist. And accidental or not, he's very, very passionate about what he does. As passionate that he created a device inspired by a whale shark called the waste shark. And Richard, welcome.
Thank you very much, Samantha.
The waste shark is actually joining us today, right?
Mungo is the waste shark that we have in the water today.
Mungo, like a mango or not?
Mango with a U. Yeah.
Mango with a U. Well, it's a cute name. It's a cute name. Well, can you tell me what we're looking at precisely and how it works? Or better yet, can I try it while you talk me through it and tell the people what we're looking at?
Are you insured? No, don't worry.
I hope
you can
so.
play with
Is it
Mungo
very
while I tell you what it does. It is very expensive, but I'll trust you wholeheartedly. The idea behind a waste shark is that it's a drone, but it's an aqua drone, so it doesn't fly in the air, it flies through the water. And as you see right at the front there, it's got a basket that collects any trash that's floating on the top. And it's quite simple to control, most kids can get it. I'll have to teach you that.
So that's funny.
So go full forward,
Oh, that's full
go
speed.
full backwards, and if you want to
Oh.
turn, you go up or down.
I bet you had a lot of fun creating this.
It's boys and toys, unfortunately. Yes,
yeah,
we've had a lot of fun making it work.
But now I'm doing full speed and it's... Wait,
You're going backwards.
I'm going backwards?
Go, if you push them both up to the front, there we go.
Oh, there! Yay! I can buy my own waste shark. Well, a little bit more saving to do. Anyway, Richard, you were also with us in January when we
Indeed.
did the talk show in the museum. What happened between then and now?
We've had a lot of exciting developments. This is, I think, one of our biggest years, despite the pandemic coming in. We're building a number of different sharks to do a number of different things. So you see that the waste shark collects waste, plastic waste and bio-waste. We're now introducing an oil shark next month, which takes maritime oil and hydrocarbons off the top of the water.
That's big news, guys.
It's a big thing for us. And starting October, November, we start on what we call our shark pod, which is a machine that will be floating in the water, and we'll be able to take 5 sharks all at once. So
It's like a mama shark.
basically it's like a mama whale shark that has its little young coming in, emptying its trash out, they'll recharge and then they'll both go out again, or all of them will go out again. And in about 12 months to 24 months time, that'll be a completely autonomous solution. So you'll be able to control that from your office and make them swim wherever you would like to go. So we're really excited about that. It's our next big thing.
Wow, congratulations on the
Thank you very
brand.
much.
That's really, really nice. Is there any plan in the future to combine all these sharks? The oil shark, the waste shark and the data shark?
Very much so. I suppose for an area like this and sort of a port like Rotterdam, data is very useful. So we do extract data, we harvest waste and we harvest data at the same time. And to be able to extract oil and waste and data at the same time for a port is quite necessary. So the combination of all three at the moment is something that we're looking to introduce in the next 12 to 24 months.
And I said it in my intro, you call yourself an accidental environmentalist, right? And you're very passionate about inspiring other people with good ideas about sustainability. Do you still have time for that, running this whole business and coming up with all these new ideas?
I think it's an exciting business to be in. So the team that we have around us are all as excited as I am, which is good. We come up with ideas for new products all the time. So we're always trying to encourage people to add suggestions, make our innovations better, and encourage other people who have great ideas around sustainability to do the same.
Yeah. And the old shark, is it going to look like this shark?
It's going to look pretty much like this. Inside it'll look quite different, but from the outside it'll look pretty much the same as this.
So the anatomy will differ a little bit.
Slightly, yes,
Yeah.
but it'll still look as cute as this one.
And just basic. It will take in water, take the oil out.
Take the oil off the top,
Yep.
store the oil in the back,
And then
put
spit out the water again.
Spit out the fresh water back into the water.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I hope you guys send in some questions. So let's see what we can fish out of the water. Here it comes. Woo! There it goes. Me and my sound effects all day, every day. Richard, we have a couple of questions. Somebody is asking, can it get clogged, and what do you do when that happens?
It's got a little sensor on it that'll tell you if it is clogged, and then it'll come back in and you can unclog it. But it gets to a point where it does get full. Obviously it's there to catch stuff, and it has to get full at one stage. So you either bring it back in manually when it is clogged.
Manually, so you have to get in the water, get the
No, sorry, you can bring it in manually,
Okay.
or it'll come home on its own,
Okay.
depending on whether you have an autonomous version or a manual one. But no, we don't get clogged as such where it stops working, but it gets clogged to the point where it can't take any more trash.
Where it's full.
When it's full.
Yeah. What's the radius of the waste shark? Can you use it like
They'll swim.
everywhere?
So yeah, we built it very small. I always call it the Goldilocks of the, the three bears,
Yep.
too little, too big, too small. This one's right in the middle. It's the Goldilocks of size. So it can get into small areas like this. It can get under jetties, but at the same time it can cruise for 12 kilometers a day to be able to go up and down
But I mean,
canal
at
systems.
what point won't the remote work anymore?
5 kilometers is the
5.
Is the
That's a
the range.
decent.
Normally
decent range.
it's too far for most people because you can't see 5 kilometers.
Well,
but the ability to bring it back is
but it has a screen. I was a witness. It has a screen. And we have one last question, Richard. What makes you remain hopeful and motivated when it seems that people become more reckless every day and keep throwing things into nature or in the city or in the water?
I think what keeps me motivated is speaking to people like this and being involved in we're only part of the solution. There are a lot of other solutions out there. Human nature is very hard to change, and it's very hard to change worldwide, and a lot to do with education. So I'm hoping that people see what we're doing, what Ocean Cleanup is doing, what Clean Rivers is doing, and that brings awareness to how they dispose of their trash. But I don't think it's going to solve the problem entirely. So we need people like us to be out there and catch it before it gets worse.
Thank you, Richard. With that last question, we have unfortunately come to the end of this webinar today. And like the tides, we will keep rolling up on you with interesting and important topics, updates, and innovations. Thank you so much for watching us. Thank you for your questions. Thank you to our whole production crew. Thank you to the Morgenster. And yeah, thank you at home again for your questions. That was really cool. And taking us out on a cheerful note, starting the Maritime Festival here at the museum harbor is some music. See you next time.
One morning in July, on the pouring green came a sweet girlie, and she smiled as she passed me by. She looked so neat from her 2 white feet, with the sheen of her nut brown hair. She had a coaxing elf, had to shake myself to make sure I was standing there. From Bantry Bay up to Derry Quay, and from Galway to Dublin town, no maid I've seen like the sweet girlie that I met in the county down. And I gazed with a feeling queer, and I said I to a passerby, who's the maid with the nut brown hair. He smiled at me, and with pride said he, that's the merry begun. But fair and square I surrendered there to the charms of your Rose McCain. I've helped to let and a tenant yet did I meet with the shallow gown. But in she went and I asked for rent from the star of the county down. From Bantry Bay up to Derry Quay, and from Galway to Dublin town. No maid I sing like the sweet Colleen that I met in the county down. At the crossroads fair I'll be surely there, and I'm dressed in my Sunday clothes. And I'll trashing ties and delivering lies on the heart of the nut.